son far along? Does it deviate at all from Twilight?
Well, it can't deviate from Twilight. You know, every conversation with Bella is pretty much set in concrete. I can't do much about it. But there's a lot more that goes on in the story. It's actually really exciting. I don't know why I didn't realize that was the more fun story to be writing. I would have started with it. But I'm about chapter 12, really looking forward to the car chase scene that Bella never knows about. I've already gotten that one written in my head pretty well.
And when can we expect to read that?
I have no idea. I'm refusing to be under deadline for the present point in time. So I'm just going to write. That's my next project. I'm going to work on it, but I'm not going to name any dates because I don't need the pressure.
You've also said that you might in the future continue Leah's story or Renesmee's. Mm-hmm. Do you have any concrete plans for that?
Yeah, I've got outlines. So there's a couple scenes written that I did quite a while ago. You know, I like to write my favorite scenes first. So, you know, it's out there, and honestly, I'll write it for myself someday. I know that it's going to get written, whether I ever publish it or not. I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on how I feel about it. It's a hard thing to have such high expectations for characters. It sort of makes you want to go and write, you know, in other stories where people don't know what to expect, because sometimes it can be a hard thing.
I mean, and you're doing all this writing, you've got all this touring, you've got a family. Do you ever feel like you're stretched too thin?
Oh, all the time. You know, it's one of my plans for this year is to not feel that way and to get healthy again. You know, it really ends up sacrificing sleep and peace of mind. And I got sick all the time last year. It was like my worst flu season ever. I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm going to get healthy this year.
I've always wondered, and I haven't really seen this anywhere. When and where do you write? Is there a special place in your house, a special time that you prefer?
I've got my office. It's right in the middle of the house. It's not closed off. I found that I can't write if I am not in the middle of everything, just because that's how I used to write, and it's a habit. My best writing times are at night, which I guess fits with the vampires. It's the only time I can be positive I'm not going to be interrupted. When I first started, there wasn't so much, but now it's, you know, emails and phone calls all day long, and there's never really a break. So at nighttime, everybody else is asleep in the world. It makes it possible for me to really concentrate.
And fans know that you are famously well connected with your readers. I mean, do you still spend a great deal of time reaching out to them and answering emails?
It's harder now. Every now and then I will, but there's so much, and the volume of it really is overwhelming for me. It's hard for me to decide this is the letter I'm going to answer when there's 15,000 others, you know, that deserve it. I mean, when you think about what they deserve, they all deserve a really great answer, and I can't do it. And that's hard sometimes. So I do tend to avoid it just because it's too hard to not be able to do it. But I have to choose one or the other. I can write letters all day. I can write books. I want to write books.
The readers would kill me if I did not ask about the movie.
Right? What do you want to know?
I want to know everything.
I'm really excited about it. I mean, all along this has been one of those experiences where it's not supposed to happen like this. It was that way with the books. It's been that way with the movie. Everything's been very positive. I get along great with everybody at the summit, and the director and the writer and I are good friends. It just all came together really harmoniously, which surprised me. And I think it's going to be really great. I mean, my prediction, this is what I would have done if I'd been in that position. I would go to the theater, I would see the movie, and I would have gone out and bought another ticket and gone back and watched it again, because there's no way to just watch it one time. It's going to be really great. It just has, I mean, their scenes are different. It's things that I really like. You know, it's like these little extras for me that I didn't get to do, but now I get to see them, and that's really cool. But the heart is so much the same. It's still Belle and Edward. It feels like Twilight. It's so cool.
It sounds like you've seen more footage than when you last
I've seen some. It's still very rough, but I've seen a lot of it now, and what I think is going to be the final product is in there, and it just has that emotion that I feel when I read Twilight. So I think that's really cool.
So you think fans will definitely plug into this one?
I think so. I mean, I think there's going to be the Rob effect again. They're going to come out and be like, but there was this scene I wanted to see, and this line is different, and there might be that moment of panic. But I think they're going to come out of it feeling like, but I felt the same as when I read Twilight for the first time. I'm going to go feel that way again.
Now, is there any part of you that worries that some of the controversy over Breaking Dawn might affect the movie?
I don't think so, because I think even now when people are like, oh, how could she have done this? I think they still feel like Twilight is like the truth. And I've gone off track saying that Twilight is real, and so I don't think it's going to affect the movie at all.
You said before that the only person you fought for in terms of casting was Callan Lutz.
Right. By him. We had a last-minute upheaval with some of the things getting switched around, and we didn't have an Emmett. And it didn't. It's a smaller part. You know, there aren't that many lines, but it's such a physical presence, and he just had to look like. They had to have that Emmett vibe, and what they had in place just wasn't. It just wasn't there. And I said, you know, please, I'd really like Emmett to be great. I really would. I just want to see that. And they found Callan last minute. I mean, the first cast dinner, they were already doing shoots and everything. He had just barely gotten up to Portland. He was very, very last minute. But he's Emmett already. He didn't even have to work. I mean, I'm sure he had to work, but he does a fantastic job. It comes across so naturally. He's really just so Emmett-y. It's awesome.
And you've also said that you've been showing, like, the cast members additional material that maybe fans haven't quite read yet.
Only in one case. When we first were headed towards filming, and you know, I was nervous about it. There's always a huge potential for disaster when you make a book into a movie, and I knew that a lot of the key was going to be if Rob could pull off Edward, and if Catherine knew who Edward was. So I gave them both really rough, horrible, unedited 12 chapters of Midnight Sun, so they could see what Edward was thinking during a lot of key scenes. And they were nice enough to oblige me on that. But I just was like, anything to help, take it.
So if we want dish, we basically have to go to Rob Pattinson and make him spill.
Oh, he's not going to dish. I trust Rob.
Now that Breaking Dawn is out, you've seen almost the whole movie, and you've pretty much finished telling Bella's story. Is there any part of this that you would change?
No, it's the story the way I wanted it. I'm happy with it. I would love another editing run, particularly at Twilight, because it was so raw when I wrote that, and I actually make a lot of mistakes, but that's just like grammar and vocabulary. The story itself, no, I would not change it.
But you're happy with everything the way it is?
I am. I had fun writing it. I got to live this, and it was really fantastic. I wouldn't change that.